I'm so glad you're on the call with me today. And today I just wanted to document the process and then what's been happening with you since us working together. So why don't we just start off by tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and your background.
Absolutely. So thank you for having me. Thank you for this document. Um, my name is Ashley Patterson. I'm the owner and founder of Elite Acuity, which is my business consulting firm. And I launched it in 2016, and it was originally started not to start the business. It really was just to help one person condense their workload and provide balance for their work-life balance. So that's how I started. I worked in many different industries, worked for billion dollar corporations and hospitals and the government. And so I was fortunate enough to be able to apply my work background and my leadership experience with my education and develop a consulting firm that's doing very well.
That's awesome. That's amazing. How long have you had your consulting firm, Ashley?
I started it in 2016.
Okay, 2016. Okay,
Yes,
okay. All right. And is that the main focus that you're working on for your business?
absolutely. When I started it, as I said before, it was just to help one person. I didn't really have any intent for it to grow. I didn't really have any mission or vision. It was just somebody gave me the idea. So I did the paperwork and started the business. And
Mm,
it was just recently that I decided they're probably right. I probably do need to focus on something. There's a need, so I need to focus on it.
yes, absolutely. Delivering that need, right, to the marketplace. Yeah,
Exactly.
awesome. So tell us a little bit about how was your life before mentorship, before you and I came in contact? What's
Absolutely. So prior to us meeting, I was basically just running in circles.
happening?
I was dormant, if
Mm,
you will. So I was working full time. I was a regional trainer for Costco, and I um, I was also the marketing manager. And I got to a point where I was just no longer happy because it just felt like it wasn't enough.
mm,
And so after 15 years of being in that industry, I resigned and I got another job 7 days later and ended up right back in the same position where I just wasn't happy. And it just felt like it was never enough. So prior to us meeting, I was just repeating the cycle that I had just left.
right. So you were kind of in an autopilot, not realizing that you were going through a cycle, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what happened since we met? What were some biggest shifts, or what are some of like awareness?
Absolutely. Well, just to rewind a little bit, when we met, I didn't realize that I was just running in circles. I didn't realize that I was dormant and that I really wasn't being who I could be. I wasn't living to my fullest potential. So when we met, for one, I never remembered speaking to you the initial conversation. And so when you called, I was like, I don't know who this is, but she sounds great. So I'm glad I picked up the phone and I'm glad I listened to what you had to say because I really couldn't remember. And that just goes to show how um, unaware I was. I really was just going through the motion. So anything that new came that in my life, I didn't I didn't really pay attention to anything that was new, anything that was fresh. If I wasn't familiar with it, I was turning it down.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, we met, and I made the decision to try the mentorship and totally transform me. And it started with awareness. It started with first recognizing that I was operating in circles.
Right.
And when I made that discovery, then the next step was that I had to set a goal for myself to get out of that pattern. And it took me maybe not a long time for others, but it felt like a long time for me. It took me maybe a month or two just to even come up with a goal that was not succinct with my normal pattern.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, and awareness, this is what we teach, right? Awareness is definitely the first step to change because you weren't even aware that you were living like that, going in circles. So when you first had the awareness and you're like, okay, you knew deep down inside actually that you knew you were meant for more, but you on the outside you're living this cycle, right? So until that awareness, then you're like, okay, then it was kind of like shining light on what was happening, and now you can actually choose to do something different, right? And
Absolutely.
just imagine that, like you said, imagine how many times when like opportunities came to you and they just went over your head because you weren't even aware, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So now that you are aware, so tell us a little bit, what have you manifested since the mentorship?
Well, since the mentorship, number one, I manifested being able to set a goal, and a goal that is taking me outside of that cycle that I was in. So that was number one,
Mhm.
because prior I would have set a goal that would have spun me right back to where I was. And then moving forward, I was able to manifest doubling my income, um, podcast interviews. My business is now totally restructured. I had interview with Les Brown. I've had speaking engagements, and this is all just from making a decision that I wanted some change.
Exactly. And also author, right? You're also writing a book.
Oh, that is correct. So I do have one that's published and it will be released May 10th. And then following that, I am also now writing alongside with Les Brown for a compilation book that will be released, I believe, the end of October. We don't have a set date yet.
Wow. That's just amazing. Like you're just saying it like, I really want to pause a little bit. It's not every day you get to write, alongside with Les Brown, right? Think about
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you said something so important, actually, was you made the decision. That was it. You made the decision, first of all, to invest in yourself, right? That was the first
Correct.
decision. Yeah.
Correct.
And then follow that is you made the decision to go after your goal.
Absolutely. And that decision to invest in myself came in different forms. Initially I was thinking monetarily,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason I did it was because I was trying to prove that, oh yeah, I don't have a problem with money. I don't have, money is a no object, but it really was. And
Mm-hmm.
that was also a part of the awareness. So I had to make a commitment, of course, first to invest in myself monetarily, but then more importantly, it was a time factor. How much time was I willing to learn about who I am and what I'm capable of?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, monetary things you can measure, right? So there's a saying that you can always measure what you put in, right? How much it costs, right? But you can never ever measure what you get out of it, right? Like so with
Right.
that, the question is, where do you think your life would be at if you didn't invest in the mentorship?
I know for a fact that I would still be in that cycle, in that nasty circle of not being happy with the different positions that I was receiving.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I've been so fortunate that with the positions that I've had, I've excelled and I've gotten promoted in all of them. I've had awards. And so on the outside, it looked like I was successful, but on the inside, I was just running in circles. And I know for a fact that's where I would be today, is still running in those circles, no matter how successful I looked on the outside.
Mm. Yeah, and that's so huge, actually, like what you're saying, is that a lot of times we see other people, they're successful, right? But internally, sometimes they don't even know themselves, right? They're not even happy with themselves, right? So it's like that sense of fulfillment, right? That purpose. Like I think that's
Abs-
priceless. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you a small snippet story. I remember for years, I was rehired by Costco to run their inventory, which basically means that you are running the entire warehouse, 300 plus employees from start to finish on how to count millions of dollars worth of inventory in 3 hours or less. You run that whole schedule. It's a week-long process for 3 hours of counting. And I remember I used to get on a scissor lift and I'd go all the way to the top of the building. I mean, I could literally grab the pole on the ceiling.
Mm.
And I remember just looking down at the entire warehouse and drawing my plans and making sure that everything was the way it should be so that I can be successful in this strategy. And I was just thinking, it's still not enough. Like, I'm literally standing on the top of $1 billion corporation,
Mm.
and it's not enough.
Mm.
Like, when is it enough?
Right, right. It's not, it's honestly, it's not the money. It's not the fame. It's not the status, right? If you don't feel fulfilled inside, none of those things will make you fulfilled, right? And it feels like we're
Absolutely.
chasing things all the time, right? But we feel so empty inside, right?
Yep,
Yeah, and it just goes back to the importance of understanding who you are, okay?
exactly.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, I mean, like when you hear things like that, it's just like it really is life changing. Like you can never go back to your old way, right? Your awareness. Yeah. Right?
No. And now the beauty of it now is that if I ever get back to that point where I'm standing on top of a billion dollar corporation, it's because that's where I want to be, not because that's where I landed.
Oh, wow, that's so good. You choose, right? You choose your life, right? Not rather than let the circumstances dictate where you're gonna end up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Last few question is, what would you say to some people who are listening right now, and they want to invest in themselves, they want to change, but they're hesitant. Like words of encouragement for them.
Absolutely. If you're wondering if you should or shouldn't invest in yourself, that's an internal decision that you have to make. In my particular journey, I wanted to give more. And so I thought that giving to myself would take away from me giving more to others when it's the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite. My cup was empty and I was trying to give from an empty cup, and you just can't. So, one of my affirmations and something that I remind myself every single day is, my gifts were not given for me. My gifts were given so that I can give to other people. And so when I'm investing in myself, I'm investing in my clients and I'm investing in my business and the people around me, because the better person I am, the more I can give.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's we always say that a lot of people focuses on investing in their business, but you're the most important thing in your business. Right? When you
Right.
grow, yeah, all areas of your life will grow, not just your business, right? Your relationship with people, your awareness, and relationship with infinite intelligence, with the God, with universe, right? It's everything, right? And I love what you shared, is that you cannot give from an empty cup, right? You got to fill your cup
Absolutely.
up. Then you can give to your client. You can serve more people, right? Yeah, you can touch more lives. Yeah. So I want to thank you for coming on today, and I really just want to have you share your experiences with others. And for people that are listening right now, if you're still deciding, if you should or should not invest in yourself, make that decision, right? Like your life will never be the same, but you just have to make that decisions. And like what Ashley said, like, you can, I won't be able to make that decision for you, but then it's your decision as to what kind of life you want to create, and give yourself that opportunity, that chance. So with that, thank you, Ashley, for coming on. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.